Hello, friends. The 1110th day of the war between Russia and Ukraine continues. The situation in the Kursk direction continues to develop very difficult for the Ukrainian armed forces after a large-scale offensive by the enemy. Over the past day, the area of the Ukrainian bridgehead has decreased by almost 40 square kilometers and now amounts to 288 square kilometers. Let's go through the chronology of the incoming news. In the morning, the military telegram channel Deep State reported on the advancement of Russian troops to the north and northwest of Sudzha. According to the telegram channel, Ukraine partially retreated in Ruskoye and Cherkaskoye Porchnoi. At the same time, Lebedevka, according to Deep State, has been completely captured by the Russians, thanks to which Russia has greatly advanced towards the highway, which further complicates logistics along it. No progress has been recorded in Sudzha and around it. Russian telegram channels claimed in the morning that they had taken Martynovka, to the northeast of Sudzha. A number of Russian telegram channels denied the capture of this village, stating that it was premature to talk about it. Others wrote that the Ukrainian armed forces were blocked in Martynovka. The enemy also stated that fierce fighting was underway in Malaya Loknya. Concerning whether the Russians entered Sudzha, the data is contradictory. So far, there is no objective evidence of such an entry. Ukrainian telegram channels refute this. They write that the Russians entered the Sudzha area via a gas pipeline. At the same time, the military of the Ukrainian armed forces in their telegram channels refute that the forces that broke through were destroyed, which was reported yesterday by the Ukrainian side. In turn, Russian military telegram channels stated that the Russians were making a significant advance south of Sudzha towards the highway, which creates a threat of blocking the city, and also greatly complicates the supply of the Ukrainian troop group both in Sudzha and in the entire Kursk region. The Russian Defense Ministry announced this morning the capture of the village of Noven'ke in the Sumy region, and also the return of control over the village of Lebedevka. The enemy's telegram channels claim that thanks to an underground march along a gas pipe, the Russian army managed to take control of the Kurakhove farmstead. It is not located near Sudzha itself, but to the north of it near the strategically important settlement of Malaya Loknya, to which almost all communications of the Ukrainian troops in the northern part of the Kursk bridgehead are tied. At the same time, Russian telegram channels stated that Russian troops already control most of the northern salient, from where the Ukrainian armed forces are retreating towards Malaya Loknya and Sudzha. On the Deep State map, the Kurakhove farmstead is marked as territory controlled by Ukraine. In the evening, Russian military telegram channels announced the capture of Malaya Loknya and published a video from there with their flags. This was also officially announced by the Russian Ministry of Defense. This is the main fortified area of the Ukrainian armed forces north of Sudzha. The Russians also claim that they have regained control over the villages of Cherkaskoye Porchnoi and Kostiantynopil. The loss of Malaya Loknya, as well as the village of Martynovka north of Sudzha, was confirmed in the evening by the Ukrainian military telegram channel Deep State. Moreover, in the evening, Russian military telegram channels began to write that throughout the territory north of Kurakhove and Malaya Loknya, that is, throughout the northern section of the Kursk bridgehead, organized resistance by the Ukrainian armed forces had ceased, and Ukrainian units are retreating to Malaya Loknya and Sudzha. Ukraine has not confirmed this. The 46th Brigade's telegram channel, citing its comrades in one of the airborne brigades that is participating in the battles on the Kursk bridgehead, writes that the Russians have physically reached the Sumy-Sudzha highway backup, which goes through Goncharovka to the borders with the Sumy region. The enemy is currently 4 kilometers from the main Sumy-Sudzha highway. Drones and sabotage and reconnaissance groups are working. Neither of the two roads can be used anymore. They will physically go to the main road. There will be a new fortress Sudzha, writes the telegram channel of the 46th Brigade. Chief Sergeant of the 47th Brigade Oleg Chaus, reported that the passage to Sudzha is completely controlled by Russian drones. According to him, they are simply swarming there. The passage to the Sudzha territory is about 5 kilometers. And this section is completely controlled from left to right by enemy FPV drones. If we are talking about their number, then it should be said that you can see 8 of these drones in the sky in 10 to 15 minutes. That is, they are simply swarming there, said Chaus. And another bad news for today is the loss of Kostiantynopil to the west of Kurakhove. Earlier, the Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of the village, but Ukraine did not confirm this. The armed forces of Ukraine have lost the village of Kostiantynopil, wrote a Ukrainian soldier, with the call sign, Martynovka. The enemy has installed a RAG in the western part of Kostiantynopil. This indicates that the enemy has complete control of the village. Our troops are not there, now this is final, he wrote. Kostiantynopil is located on the highway from Kurakhove to Zaporizhia, on the western edge of the bag that was formed as a result of the advance of Russian troops north in Andriivka and south. At the same time, according to the same soldier Martynovka, the armed forces of Ukraine today advanced near Pokrovsk in the village of Shevchenko. Our guys were able to reach the center of the village from the east. Now the fighting is taking place in the buildings. The enemy is using mortars and night drones. It's very difficult. The total advance was 600 meters. Among our fighters there are seriously wounded. I hope for evacuation, writes Martynovka. When the material was ready, the Deep State Telegram channel published a post and stated that Kostiantynopil was under the control of the Ukrainian Defense Forces. According to him, despite the statements of the Russian Defense Ministry and Russian war correspondents, Kostiantynopil is still under the control of the Ukrainian army. Today, the enemy published a bold action, launching several groups that penetrated the northern, eastern, and western outskirts of the village and took off with flags. Some of the groups were destroyed. Some may still be hiding in the village until they are discovered and destroyed, Deep State wrote. In my opinion, these are very strange statements, and they raise more questions than answers. Friends, this channel exists solely thanks to your support. If you have the opportunity and desire to support the channel, I will be very grateful to you. I also want to ask you to leave comments. This helps promote the channel. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.